I arrived late for Thanksgiving at my sister's. When I stepped inside, my dad raised a toast. "It's so great that Mr. Stern didn't appear." My mother chuckled. "At least he covered our dinner." I closed the door without a sound, left a note on it, and then departed. Once they read it. 77 unanswered calls. You ever walk into a moment you've been dreading, a moment that feels like the ultimate betrayal, and it's worse than you ever imagined? Imagine this. It's Thanksgiving, you're exhausted, pie in hand, about to walk through your sister's front door, and then you hear them, your own family, laughing, making jokes about how you're just their personal ATM. What the hell happened next? Well, let me tell you. My name's Tyler. I'm 31. And for most of my life, I've been the quiet one, the oldest kid who always showed up. Flat tire? Call Tyler. Leaky sink? Tyler's got it. I'm a package driver, so my days start with early alarms, steel-toe boots, and coffee that tastes like cardboard. I don't drink much. I keep receipts. I say I'm fine even when I'm absolutely not. This year, Thanksgiving was at my sister Hannah's place. You know the type of suburb, gray siding, too sad, inflatable turkeys already slumped in the cold. I was late, not because I wanted to be, but because peak season delivery is a beast. A route reroute dropped 30 extra stops on me. And then some guy in a cul-de-sac made me wait while he checked if his wife ordered the wrong size blender. Time just bends during peak season. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Where are you? You better not be late. I just kept driving. By the time I finally pulled up, Hannah's windows were glowing, spilling out warm light and loud laughter. I could see their silhouettes at the dining room table, already deep into dinner. I'd grabbed a store-bought pie on the way. Honestly, I didn't have the energy for anything homemade. My hand went to the front door, pushing it open just a crack. The warm air, the voices, it all spilled out into the entry. And then I heard my dad's voice, loud, with a glass raised. "It's so good that Mr. Serious didn't come." A couple of chuckles followed. Then, my mom's voice, clear as day. "At least he paid for dinner." The words hit me like a physical slap, a punch to the gut I hadn't seen coming. My entire body went cold. I didn't say a single word. I just closed the door as quietly as I could, without a sound. I pulled a sticky note from my wallet, the kind I keep for missed apartments and door tags, scribbled something fast, taped it to the door at eye level, and just left. I walked back down the steps, pie still tucked under my arm, the wind suddenly sharp against my face. My phone exploded before I even hit the sidewalk. The group chat, personal texts, a stack of missed calls from Mom, Dad, Hannah, then unknown numbers. The count just climbed. I got into my van, closed the door, and just sat there, hands on the wheel, phone rattling in the cup holder. I didn't pick up. When they finally read that note, my phone lit up like a Christmas tree. By the time the porch light timed out behind me, my screen showed 77 missed calls. 77. I put the pie on the passenger seat, started the engine, and drove off into the dark. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like the bad guy. I felt quiet, like a room after a storm, when the wind dies down and you finally notice what's broken and what's still standing. They didn't just call me Mr. Serious out of nowhere. I wasn't born that way. I was made, in small pieces over years. Part-time after school to pay for my own phone bill. Saturdays spent under a neighbor's pickup, holding a light for my dad. Community college because it was practical, not a dream. And then, the ask started. When my parents missed a mortgage payment, I covered it this once. When Hannah's car died, I helped with the down payment. Mom's crown cracked. Put it on my card. We'll settle later. Later never came. Delivery work didn't make me rich. It made me disciplined. You don't survive 12-hour routes without systems. I learned to budget by the mile, gas envelopes, savings buckets labeled with blue tape, health, tires, oh shoot fund. I didn't say no easily. I'd say, let me see. And then I'd find a way. They learned that. Dad would call during my lunch break. Buddy, your mother's worried about the power bill. Just till Friday. Mom would text, we're short on groceries. You know how it is. Family. Hannah would send Venmo requests with notes like, thanks, big bro, for $0, after I'd already paid the balance. If I ever tried to say I couldn't, the tone would shift. You're being dramatic. You know we do it for you. Other families don't keep score. Oh, but I did. They never saw the spreadsheet I kept on my cracked laptop. Tabs for transfers, bills I covered, repairs. Not for revenge. For sanity. To remind myself I wasn't imagining it. There were good moments, sure. Sunday pancakes. Dad teaching me to wrap a pipe with Teflon tape. Hannah and I watching dumb shows. But even those soft memories now felt like they had little price tags tucked into their corners. This year squeezed me harder. Rent bumped. My route stretched. One of my buddies blew out his knee lugging a treadmill up a third-floor walk-up, and I picked up his stops for 3 weeks. The overtime didn't feel like overtime because my body forgot what off meant. Then came the Thanksgiving plan. 3 weeks before the holiday, a new chat popped up. Dinner strategy, turkey. Members. Mom, Dad, Hannah, and me. Hannah wrote, catering this year to make it easy. She sent menu screenshots, a total at the bottom with tax and delivery. Mom replied, perfect. Tyler has that peak season bonus coming. Dad added a thumbs up emoji. I stared at the screen, my fingers frozen. Didn't type a thing. 10 minutes later, Hannah texted me separately. Orders due today. Can you just pay, and we'll settle up later? You know how it is with the kids. Settle up later had a very specific shape in our family. It looked like me paying twice. Once with money, once with silence. I should have said no. I said yes. I called the place, gave my card, scheduled the drop-off for 3 p.m. I told myself it was easier than arguing in a group chat that reads everything like an attack. The week before Thanksgiving, the ask stacked even higher. Mom wanted a new space heater for the guest room, but sent me a link to one 3 times the size. Dad's truck needed 2 tires. Hannah's husband had unexpected expenses, and could I front their water bill till January? Till January burrowed under my skin. January meant when taxes come. And when taxes come had always meant, oops, maybe spring before that. I just kept delivering packages and counting breaths. 15 seconds in the cab before I knocked. 15 seconds after. I started waking at 4 a.m. without my alarm, my chest already tight from emails I hadn't even read yet. Sometimes I'd sit on the edge of my bed and just stare at my boots. They looked like someone else's life. The small crack came 2 days before the holiday. I got a call from the appliance store in town. Hi, this is Carla. We're confirming delivery of the Whirlpool washer and dryer to your parents' address. Install fee will go on your card ending 4421. My mouth went completely dry. Right? I stammered. I hadn't bought a washer and dryer. Who authorized that? Order was placed online under Tyler M. Same email as the catering order, she said, reading it out loud. It was my email. And the delivery window they picked? 10 a.m. on Thanksgiving. The exact time I was supposed to be helping set up. I drove straight to my parents' place. Mom was arranging napkin rings, oblivious. Dad was watching a fishing video on his phone. I tried to keep my voice calm. Did you order appliances in my name? Mom didn't even look up. Oh, don't be so dramatic. The old set is dying. The website auto-filled. You're good with computers. It auto-filled my card. I said, my voice rising a little. Dad finally muted his phone. We were going to pay you back when the year turns. Don't be selfish, Tyler. Your mother needs a working washer. There it was. Selfish. I felt my jaw click, a physical echo of the tension building inside me. I thought of my own laundry, done at night in the coin machines in my building, quarters counted out on my coffee table. I thought of the spreadsheet. The year turns. I'm canceling it, I said. Mom finally glanced up, her eyes wide with offense. Why do you always have to make things ugly? I canceled it in my van, on hold with a woman who called me sweetie. For the first time, my breathing actually steadied. I didn't apologize in a follow-up text. I didn't send a screenshot of the cancellation. I just let the silence hang. Thanksgiving morning, my route blew up. 2 trucks down. Dispatch split their stops across whoever had room. That meant me. While I carried a dog food bag to a porch with a "please knock, sleeping baby" sign, my phone buzzed. Hannah, you're still coming, right? Mom, don't be late. The food window is tight. Dad, a turkey gif. I answered once, running behind. I'll try. My last stop before sunset was a cul-de-sac with a driveway like a ski slope. I lugged a flat screen to a door, and the guy made me wait while he found a pen. You busy today? He asked, casual. Everyone is, I said. My voice sounded far away, detached. I made it to Hannah's street 30 minutes past the invite time. I saw them through the window. The table set, wine poured, my chair empty. And then the toast. It's so good that Mr. Serious didn't come. At least he paid for dinner. My hand on that door handle, 100 small pieces of me snapped into one solid, unyielding thing. I taped the note. I left. And all the way home, the missed calls stacked until the numbers stopped looking like numbers and started looking like proof. They blew up my phone all night. The first voicemail was Mom's, syrupy. Ty, honey, we didn't mean it like that. Come back. The next was sharper. So, you're just going to ruin Thanksgiving? Then Dad. Men don't sulk. Hannah tried jokes that weren't funny. You forgot the pie, bro. Then, are you serious? I didn't answer. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, set it face down, and slept like a rock for 6 straight hours. For the first time in months. In the morning, the group chat title had changed. Emergency. Hannah. The catering place charged twice. Mom. And the turkey was dry. Dad. Your grandfather is upset. Hannah again. Also, can you send the login for Hulu? The kids want a movie. I made coffee. Stared at the steam. Opened my laptop and the spreadsheet. I wasn't sure what I was going to do yet. I just knew I was done letting them define the story. At noon, Mom showed up at my apartment with Dad and Hannah in tow. No call, just knocks, hard and fast. I let them in because I wanted this to be said in a room, with eyes. My living room is small. Couch, 2 chairs, my delivery jacket hanging on a dining chair because I don't have a hall tree. The 3 of them took up space like they owned it. Mom started first, a practice sigh. You embarrassed us. Dad followed. You made your mother cry on a holiday. Hannah folded her arms. You taped a note to my door like you're 12. I kept my voice even. What did my note say? Hannah rolled her eyes. Something about needing space. It said, I'm safe. I need space. We'll talk later. Please don't call tonight. And then I got 77 missed calls. Dad's jaw set. You should have come in and talked like a man. Like when you call me Mr. Serious to a room full of people? I asked. Or when Mom said, at least he paid for dinner? Mom's hand flew to her chest. It was a joke. It's always a joke when it lands on me. I said, my voice dangerously calm. When I'm the wallet. Silence. The kind that sizzles. I pulled the folder from under my coffee table. Tabs with blue tape. I didn't wave it like a flag. I set it down and opened it. Transfers. Printed bank statements. Highlighted lines. Venmos with notes. Screenshots with dates. The appliance order cancellation confirmation. The catering receipt with my card. The double charge circled. And an email already sent to fix it. I turned the pages slowly, my voice calmed, like I was reading a weather report. This is Mom's power bill in March, May, and August. Dad's tires in June. Hannah's water in October. The dental crown in January. The short on rent in February. Total for this year so far, $9,842.16. That's not counting the equipment I replaced when Dad borrowed my drill and it died. Or the kids' tablets in July because school apps. Or the phones I put on my plan last year because family plan is cheaper. I looked up. It's not cheaper for me. Hannah flushed. Seriously? You kept a ledger? I kept proof, I said, holding her gaze, because every time I said I was tapped out, I was called selfish. I took a deep breath, steadying myself. I'm not selfish. I'm depleted. Dad leaned forward. So what? You want us to pay you back? We're family. What I want, I said, looking at each of them in turn, is this. No more money. No more bills in my name. No more auto-filled cards. No more group chats assigning me to pay. If you ask, the answer will be no. If you do it anyway, I'll dispute it. And if you put me on the spot in front of people again, I will leave. Mom's laugh was small and mean. Who do you think you are, laying down rules? I think I'm the guy who's been paying while you told jokes about it, I said. And I'm done. Hannah's voice went high. You're overreacting. It's not like we're using you. You make more than us. I looked down at my hands. The knuckles were nicked from boxes. I make more overtime than you, Hannah. That's different. Dad pointed at the folder. Take your little report and shove it. We've done plenty for you. Like what? The question came out before I could soften it. He blinked. We raised you, right? And now I'm raising myself, I said quietly. I stood. I walked to the door and opened it. Not yelling, not dramatic. Just done. You're really throwing away your family over a few thousand? Mom asked, scoffing. I'm enforcing boundaries because I want to have a family someday without hating them, I said. If you can respect that, I'd love to see you. If not, I need space. They didn't move at first. Then, Dad stood with a scrape of chair legs that sounded louder than anything else in the room. Hannah brushed past me with a huff. Mom lingered, eyes narrowed like she could shame me into submission. Fine, she said, but don't come crying when you need us. I nodded once. You mean when you need me? I closed the door after them. My heart was hammering. My hands shook. I put my forehead against the wood and exhaled. It wasn't triumph. It was a clean break. It hurt, and it relieved at the same time. My phone buzzed. New messages rolled in from relatives I hadn't seen in months. Your mom is upset. You made Thanksgiving awkward. Money comes and goes. Family is forever. I typed one sentence and sent it to the group chat. My money is part of my life, and my life is not your budget. Then I turned the phone off. For real this time. The first week was loud. Calls, texts, paragraphs about duty, and how dare you keep track like an accountant. Aunt Lisa sent me a Bible verse about cheerful givers. Uncle Mike said men provide. Cousin Derek asked for my Hulu login, since you're not using it to watch anything anyway. I left most of it on read. I removed devices from my accounts, changed my bank passwords. I took my name off the emergency payer on my parents' utility accounts, which I hadn't even realized I was still listed on. When the lady asked why, I just said, because it's not my house. I blocked no one at first. I wanted to see the shape of the pushback. It was predictable. Stage 1, mockery. Mr. Serious is doing a spreadsheet presentation. Stage 2, guilt. You know your father's blood pressure is high. Stage 3, anger. Enjoy your money, Scrooge. Stage 4, negotiation. Okay, not every bill, just the big ones. On day 5, my landlord slid a notice under my door. Rent increase in January. New management. It would hurt. I ran the numbers. I canceled the gym I wasn't using. I sold the drum set from high school that was mostly dust. I picked up a Sunday route through Christmas. I wasn't heroic. I was practical. Saturday morning, I was sorting parcels in the cold bay when Hannah showed up at my work. She doesn't do cold. That's how I knew she'd hit a wall. She stood by the roll-up door, cheeks pink, hair whipping in the wind. Can we talk? She asked, her voice small. I glanced at my supervisor, who pretended to study a clipboard because he lives for this kind of drama. I walked Hannah to the side where the wind didn't slap as hard. What's up? I asked. Her jaw worked. They cut our Wi-Fi yesterday. I waited. She swallowed. The water's past due. Jason got ours cut. Mom said to call you. Of course she did, I said. She looked me dead in the eye. Can you help us? Just this once. There it was. The phrase that had been stretched to meaninglessness in our family. Just this once. No, I said. My voice didn't wobble. I can help you figure out a plan. I won't pay the bill. Her mouth opened like I'd slapped her. You'd let my kids go without water? Don't do that, I said, my voice firm. Call the city. Ask about a payment arrangement. Sell the patio furniture you haven't used since the 4th of July. Cut the streaming services and stop ordering DoorDash. She bristled. You think I don't know how to budget? I think you think I'm your budget, I said. Her eyes filled. For a second, I saw my sister, the one who used to ride handlebars on my bike. Not the woman who tagged me in a grocery list. The wind shoved a dry leaf between us. I didn't know it was that much, she said, nodding toward an invisible folder. What you showed us. I shrugged. I stopped adding in October. It was stressing me out. She wiped her nose with the back of her hand. Mom says you're punishing us because you're lonely. I almost laughed. It came out as a quiet breath. Mom says a lot of things. Most of them end with my card number. She stared at the ground. When she looked up, her voice was small. I'm scared. I know, I said. Me too. We stood in the cold and didn't solve it. She left with her coat pulled tight, not hugging me, not. It felt weirdly honest. 2 days later, Dad called from a number I didn't recognize. Your mother's crying, he said, without a hello. She's good at it, I said before I could stop myself. He went quiet. Then he said, softer, I didn't realize about the dental thing, or the tires, or hell, all of it. I told you as it happened, I said. You said you got it. He said, because if I didn't, I was selfish. The line hummed. He cleared his throat. We can't cover everything, but I'll talk to your mother about not expecting. Okay, I said, not quite trusting the words yet. That's a start. We had a week and a half of standoff peace. I worked. I listened to podcasts that had nothing to do with money or boundaries. I drank water. I slept. I noticed my shoulders weren't living up around my ears anymore. On a Tuesday, Mom broke the quiet with a paragraph so long my phone truncated it. The summary. I was cruel. I was withholding. I had forgotten who took me to baseball practice. She ended with, "We're your family, Tyler. Money comes and goes." I typed, deleted, typed again. Then I sent one paragraph. Money came from my hours and my body. It goes into your accounts. You have treated my labor like a faucet you can turn on and off when you want. I am not a faucet. I am a person. She heart reacted to her own message. Nothing to mine. At work, I started chatting with folks I used to just wave at and forget. Miriam, who runs circles around everyone and brings thermoses of soup. Drew, who keeps Werther's originals in his vest pocket like a grandpa. People with lives that didn't try to spin me. It made my days feel less like white noise. A small thing happened that shouldn't have mattered but did. The regular on Maple and 16th taped a paper cup to his mailbox with "For Tyler, hot cocoa." I took a sip between stops. It tasted like someone saw me. Bills still came. Rent would still rise. But my account balance stopped doing the mysterious sinkhole drop every other week. My budget app sent a notification with confetti. "You've met your savings goal for tires." I smiled alone in my van like a weirdo. Then came the petty war. Hannah's husband, Jason, who's always had a talent for making a mess with a smile, posted a story. Their family in matching pajamas with the caption, "When you don't have a Scrooge brother, holidays are happier." A mutual connection sent it to me. I didn't reply. He followed it up with a GoFundMe link. "Help us through a hard season." The goal was suspiciously close to the total in my spreadsheet. Comments popped up from Aunt Lisa and a couple of church people about community and grace. My name popped up, tagged in a comment. "Tyler, you could end this." I didn't comment. I reported the tag as harassment. It was removed. I blocked Jason. I waited for the explosion. It came from Mom, as always. "You embarrassed your sister's family by reporting their post. You embarrassed yourselves by asking strangers to cover a lifestyle." I wrote back. "Sell the Peloton." She sent a voice note about, "How dare you?" I didn't listen. I let the bubble sit until it expired. But not everything turned sour. The night shift guy, Manny, heard me humming badly and said, "You play?" I told him about the drum set I sold. He grinned. "We got a storage unit show most Fridays. Bring sticks." I did. I hit skins on a kit with rust on the stands and tape on the snare. I laughed so hard I was sore. Nobody asked me for a password or a plan. They asked if I knew the bridge to a song and didn't care when I messed it up. 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, an envelope arrived in my mailbox. No return address. Inside, a check for $200 and a note in Dad's blocky handwriting. "For the tires." It's not everything. It's something. My throat tightened. I didn't cash it. I drove it to their house and slid it under their door with a sticky note of my own. "Keep it. My mom a space heater in your name." That night, Hannah texted quietly. "Kids made you a card. Where can we drop it?" I sent my work address. She brought it by with the kids. No Jason. We stood in the bay with the accordion door halfway down, like a cheap curtain. The kids hugged my legs and shoved a glitter-shedding turkey drawing into my hands. "We're sorry, Uncle Ty," the 8-year-old read out, "for calling you Scrooge. Daddy made us say it." Hannah winced. I crouched and looked them in the eyes. "I love you," I said. "If you need a ride or a snack, I'm your guy. If your parents need money, they have to figure that out." Kids are smart. They nodded like it made sense. Grown-ups complicate things kids understand in 10 seconds. On the way out, Hannah lingered. "I'm selling the patio set," she said. "And the Peloton." I nodded. "Good." She chewed her lip. "Mom says you hate us." "I don't," I said. "I'm just not your plan anymore." Something unclenched in her face. "Okay." She whispered, like hearing it out loud made it real. December rolled in with frost. I finished my Sunday runs and didn't crash. I wrapped cheap gifts in paper that looked like my route maps, lines crossing lines. I got an invite to Manny's kid's birthday. I went. I brought a toy truck. I didn't think about whether anyone would call me selfish for not bringing two. A week before Christmas, I passed my parents' street out of habit and kept going. My phone pinged. "Dad," a photo of their new washer and dryer. Not the fancy ones. Used. A caption, "Neighbor was selling." I handled install. Works fine. For once, I didn't feel like someone had yanked a leash inside my chest. I felt relief. He'd solved a problem without me. Maybe not a miracle, but different. People like to pretend boundaries are walls. They're not. They're doors. With locks. You decide who gets a key, and you can change your mind. I changed mine. New Year's Eve, I dropped a fragile box on a cedar porch. The woman offered a cookie, warm butter, like starting over. Back home, quiet apartment, half-alive plant, hot mug, boots by the door. The year started with me counting miles like sins. It ended counting breaths and finding enough. People will say I broke the family, ruined holidays, kept score. Fine. The truth is in what didn't happen. No quick question, texts that weren't questions. No driveway dread. No paying to avoid names. No laughter at me for footing the bill. I paid my light bill on time, set auto transfers for tires, and oh shoot, bought earplugs for the midnight kettlebells upstairs. I learned Miriam's soup, messed up Manny's bridge, and nobody cared. I slept. On January 2nd, Hannah sent a photo. Her water bill, $37 circled, payment plan. I texted a gold star. Dumb and perfect. Mom stayed mostly quiet. Weather. Aunt Linda's cat. No help. Maybe Dad finally said enough. Maybe she's choosing her words. Not my job to know. Dad called about spark plugs at the end. You work hard. I ran my mouth. Won't happen again. Plain. Solid. I told him about the used drum set with the cracked crash. He laughed. Your mother will hate it. There's a sticky note on my fridge. I'm safe. I need space. It used to be for them. Now it's for me. I don't owe silence to keep others comfortable or a paycheck to dodge insults. I'm not a faucet. I'm Tyler. I deliver boxes. I pay my own bills. I help when I can without hurting myself. I love my family enough to stop being their plan and myself enough to walk away when the joke's on me. The moral fits on a sticky note. I will not be used. Not by strangers, not by customers, not by people with my last name. I'll show up where I'm valued, not consumed. If that makes me Mr. Serious, I'll wear the name tag. It's mine. What would you have done in my place? Have you ever had to draw a line with your family? Tell me what you think. I really want to know.